The topic that I really want to explore today is going to be about family.
Family.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Which is, I know a lot of people avoid it. And the thing is, hey, aren't those the first relationships that we all go into?
Totally. Yeah.
So that's like, where I want to explore and
Yeah.
having peace with them, having peace with your family. We don't have to fight. We don't have to defend. We don't have to make ourselves small, or we don't have to try to be in the space of fitting into their mode of what looks right for them or trying to fight for our individuality.
Mhm,
It's like
mhm.
we can have us while honoring them.
Hello and welcome everyone to Relationships Done Different podcast. I am Leandra Costa, your host, and today we have amazing Kayla Leung as our guest. Hi, Kayla. How are you today?
Hi, I am great, Leandra. I am so honored to be the guest for the podcast today.
I know, and this is season 4. So how does it get any better? We have you here, and I'm very excited for this conversation. But I have a question for you. You being a relationships and different facilitator, um, what was your life before relationships and different, and how is it for you now? Can you tell us a bit about
Yeah,
yourself?
for sure. So, let's just say that for a very long time, I've been very anti, or I should say that I would be defending for the rightness of not going into any sort of like relationships or like any sort of committed relationships. So if you go into like things like situationships, casual dating, sure, why not? Okay. Something that's like, no commitment, something that's easy. Or I thought that was like easy. And that was like for a very long time. And also because of my background, because I am actually a doctor in psychology and I specialize in family and marriage therapy.
Oh wow, that's so cool! I never knew that.
Yeah. And the clients who came to me before, because I'm no longer licensed, so like, and what I always saw in my practice was people complaining about how their relationships don't work or how the marriages were falling apart. So it actually fed on the rightness of, okay, you know what? Yeah, that's why I'm not choosing one. Hello, why would I choose one and go into like future troubles?
I'm better by myself here. I'm
Exactly.
managing this relationship with me.
I have a good relationship with myself. So like, why do I have to have one with someone else? That was my mentality. So
So with
what was
that, how then, when you became the facilitator and you have more access to the tools, how did
mm,
it change the perspective that you had it, about relationships, and how is it now?
yeah. And actually, before I became an RDD facilitator, even with the RDD tools and even with Simone's book, like, relationship, are you sure you want one? Like
Mm-hmm.
that was like, huh, maybe there was a space, there was some possibility in relationship that I never considered because everyone was so going into this place of, okay, you know what? It's always right that I have a relationship, or it's always right that I don't have a relationship. It's always about rightness, or maybe they're wrong that they're in one, or they're wrong for not being in one. And I'm like, well, maybe it's time to go beyond the rightness and wrongness and look at what really creates something different in your life. What if it's just for fun, Nothing serious. Come on, man. Even if you're in a relationship, it doesn't mean that you have to be with this person forever.
Exactly. Yeah. We signed the paper here. We need it to be forever. I love
Exactly.
that. And so what else did you get from the book itself and within your own relationships?
Yeah, so that was like also, with Simone and Brendan, they were so different. I mean, even though they were in a relationship and then they were not in a relationship, but then that doesn't change. That didn't change, and that still doesn't change the creationship and the honoring and the trust, and also the gratitude that they have for each other, and also the allowance. So I look at that, it's like, maybe there really isn't anything significant or important, or you know what? We can just do things from a different way. And as exactly as you said, you know what? I was open to just having relationships. I'm like, you know what? I can just choose it. And I did. And I had and have like, some really good relationships with different people. And I'm not just talking about, I mean, in this case, I'm talking about like, one-on-one, like, sort of lovers real relationship that I didn't really want to, I didn't really want to get into before. Because I never really say that, oh, you know what, this would be my boyfriend. Oh, this would be my partner. Oh, this would be my husband. I mean, but that kind of thing. But hey, I could have it after that.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. And I know that you want to bring up a conversation that, is quite, to me, I love exploring. So what would you like to talk about today, going further down into relationships?
Oh, great question. So the topic that I really want to explore today is going to be about
Family.
family. Yeah.
I love it.
Which is, I know a lot of people avoid it. And the thing is, hey, aren't those the first relationships that we all go into?
Totally. Yeah.
So that's like, where I want to explore, and
Yeah.
having peace with them, having peace with your family. We don't have to fight. We don't have to defend. We don't have to make ourselves small, or we don't have to try to be in the space of fitting into their mode of what looks right for them, or trying to fight for our individuality. It's like we can have us while honoring them.
Yeah.
That's where we
Yeah.
really want to go into today.
Great, great. So how is it for you? What is your relationship with your family, and has it changed more and more as you have the tools? And what can you bring it to us that would, help anyone that's listening now and reflect to?
Absolutely. You know what? I have to admit that my relationship with my family, or my relationships with my family members, were absolutely horrible before.
I don't think you are alone on that,
Mhm.
Kayla.
And you heard I was using past, I'm actually using past tense. So it changed. It actually changed so much dynamically over time with the tools, because I thought I would just be the outcast, I would just be the black sheep, and I would just not be able to have this kind of peace with them. And so, for example, like, my parents, they have like a really problematic marriage. I think that also like kind of forged my opinion about like relationships and marriage. And that's why I was like going into the rightness of, you know what, there's really no point going to any sort of committed relationships, and also no point in going into like marriages. And that change, just going to the allowance of, hey, you know what? It's them, it's not me. Their choice is their choice. And it's not really relevant to me. It's only relevant when I make it relevant and when I buy into their stories.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
it came to me, it goes to the allowance of, you having your what they are choosing for their relationship,
Yep.
and not reacting to that and recreating that into your own relationship, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not trying to, exactly as you said, like not trying to recreate it, not trying to align into any one of their, not trying to align onto one of their sides, not trying to be, hey, you know what, I am team dad, I am team mom. And hey, I can be me. I can be team Kayla, which is like, I don't have to defend for anyone. I don't have to protect for anyone, which is exactly what most kids do in their family. When they find like, when they see that one of the parents are in the quote unquote weaker side, right? Or maybe being a quote unquote victim, they try to protect the victim by making the other person wrong. And they will look at the other person as the villain. And in that way, you're still being part of the story, you're perpetrating it, and then you're recreating it as part of your life story. Is that really what you want?
I love that. And was there a time, a specific, time that you said, "Oh, I don't need to follow that. I can just create my own reality with relationship." Was that something that pinged on you, or is that something, it was changing with time, with you having more of you and knowing that relationships can be totally different for everyone?
It kind of just dawned on me at one day. It's like, hey, I realized I wasn't choosing relationships just because I thought I was not buying into their stories, but I realizing I was avoiding.
Yeah.
I was avoiding to have their story, to like, have any sort of chance or probability of recreating that or copying that in my life. You see, this is from probability, not possibility, because possibility is unpredictable. Probability is you are still trying to see whether you are going onto any of you are having the chance of going into any of the track of copying or following, which is not choice.
Yeah. Totally, totally. Yeah. And I have here, one point. So for you, when you chose for you then to
Yeah.
to really create your relationship, did it give you more of the allowance for them, for your parents, for your family, on really having, okay, they are choosing that path, I'm bringing this path to me, and with that, did it create more for everyone, or and
Yep.
less of the separation that you mentioned in the beginning?
Yes. Yes. So when I was starting to choose for me, what I noticed is that, hey, because I also have siblings, and the relationships that I had with my siblings were not very great to begin with. I mean, I had an okay relationship with my brother, my elder brother, and I I've had the worst relationship with my elder sister. Worst. Like we're like the enemies, Like I hated her. She like kind of go into this love-hate thing towards me. It's just like I should love my younger sister, but I also really hate her and I'm jealous of her because she's just like my mom. That's how she saw me, right? Before, how she saw me before. And when I start to choose something different, when I no longer fight or avoid, I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be myself, and I'm going to choose whatever that I like as my life, as my relationship with not only with all of you guys, but with the world. Like I'm gonna choose my way to live. I'm gonna choose how I like to be with you guys. And I can show my honoring and my gratitude for you guys. Because one of the things is that we have to know and we have to acknowledge that everyone who shows up in your life is a gift. No matter how they show up, they are a gift. Even they were like an a-hole to you at one point, they're still a gift because they show you that, hey, you know what? You have all these people, and even they try to belittle you, they try to make you feel bad, and you are strong enough to overcome it. It's like how my sister was. She was such a bee. All right. I don't know how the words are, I don't know if will it be censored, okay, on a podcast to me, but it's like, yeah. And now what? She's like my best friend. Unbelievable. No one could believe it.
That's so cool.
Because also that like, we acknowledge that, hey, you know what? I acknowledge that you can be a B, whatever. And then she acknowledged that, hey, you know what? She's cool with me being a B. Sure.
So like the fight that was in place for some time is like, okay, you be yourself, I be me. And that with that, it really brought you closer.
Yes. And then you can
Indeed.
be yourself. And then I like that in you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
admire that.
that is
The
so cool.
admiration. When you have admiration for someone, you no longer can judge that person. And then suddenly this gratitude shows up and then it changes everything.
Yeah. And it's still like you can have those difficult times and something like, you know what, I don't want to talk to you. But from that space of you're not really making her the witch that she was in the past, the bee that she was in the past, but she can be there and you also can have your own spaces, can't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
if you're being like, a bee right now, it's like my mom, she's an absolute mind controlling, manipulating person. And she likes to be in charge for everything and micromanage everything. And it just really ticks everyone off. And I'm like, okay, you can be that. And then she's like, you do this, you do that. I'm like, all right, mom, it's all right. You know what? You can do that to someone else. I'm not going to be a part of it. Bye. Like,
Yeah.
be nice
Yeah.
with the smile, and then she can't do anything. Just
There
walk
you go,
away.
everyone that's here. That's a
Yeah.
good tip to follow.
Yep. It's like, love you, mom. That's what I do all the time when she's being totally frantic and also a little bit crazy. I'm like, love you, mom. Sorry, I'm not being part of your games. See you
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. And I can just hear your head now saying, okay, easy said than done. Is there anything that I can practice? Let's say about practicing until I get to this stage. But there is some little things that parents do that it just gets you reacting so fast. So is there any question or any tool or anything that someone can use to get into where you are now, Kayla?
Yeah. Thanks, Leandra, for that. Because everything that, whatever you just said, it's like whatever that really cracks you, it's like, oh, gosh, I'm reacting. It's like, stop 1 second, calm down, and just ask yourself, is this something that I am not willing to choose or be? Or maybe I secretly really want to do, but I judge so badly as a wrong thing to do or be. That's why I'm reacting so much.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because the thing that really takes you, the thing that really makes you go into reaction is something that you judge so bad as wrong. And then you might really want to do it, but then you already think that, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it in a million years. Otherwise, I'm going to be exactly like my mom or my dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you just can, if you choose to, doesn't mean that you have to do it. But it's like, all right, this is just something that I don't want to do or I'm not choosing to do. Fine.
I love
You,
that because to me, yeah. No, I was
yeah,
just going to bring so to me, it's like that judgment that was in place, it just doesn't have power anymore when you go
yeah,
to that question and that space. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
I love that. And we had something here. So and I think we covered that, but you brought up like to be grateful for them. So
Yeah.
to receive them and what they can really contribute to you. So do you want to talk about that a little bit before we end? Like this being grateful for what
Yep.
they are and who they are.
Yeah. So you see, like everything that we are today, I mean, they contribute to us because we actually learn so much from them. We actually try to, we shape our world and our perceptions of, okay, what probably we should do, what we shouldn't do, all of that kind of stuff from our family most of the time. I mean, whether we want to admit it or not. And this is like the foundation of how we start to operate. Doesn't mean that it has to be, how you operate or function from your life, forever, ever. But I'm just saying that, you know what? They are the first sort of guides for you in your life. And no matter they serve as like, the nice guides or like, or the bad guides, just to say, they are here for you. They were here for you. And you look at them and like, all right. So sometimes I look at my mom, for example, like, because she's like always being known the crazy one. I'm like, Mom, whenever I go into this place of, I can't stand her, I ask this question: what gift are you to me that I have not been able to perceive and receive? It's like when she's going crazy, I'm like, like you let me know that I can be crazy, batshit crazy, and I don't have to be that.
Yeah.
And she also allows me to know that, hey, I have this capacity, because she's my mom, right? I have this capacity to micromanage a lot of things because that's really what she does. And she can manage so many people at one time. And this is a gift that I can receive from her. Because there are many times that, you know what, like as I see from many families or many kids or many children, the last person that they really want to ask for advice would be their parents. They would ask their friends, they would ask people that they are not, I would say, like, that they quote unquote respect or admire, but like, because, when it comes to the parents or the family, it's so close, but when they're like so close, there are so much like, love, hate, judgments, all that kind of stuff all mixing together. And they're like, that would be the last people that they want to actually receive. And you know what? Asking people for advice, especially from a family, would melt so much tension. And I've done it repeatedly. And it just like, it actually dissolves all the sort of, I would say, not disagreement and all the really random stuff, all the yuck in your
Even
relationship.
walls, isn't it? Because you're
Yes.
asking for help, you're asking for advice. So you really, okay, so you're really looking at me and asking for something.
And you're willing to receive me. They feel like, oh my gosh, when you're asking from me, or like you're willing to receive me. I never know that you could receive me because I thought you only try so hard to block me away from your life.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Whether you want to receive it or not doesn't matter. It's just, a tool. It's just a way to like dissolve that wall, that separation.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. And so even by you bringing this question, so much more inclusive sort of thing and calming, sort of, yeah, that wall that was there, it goes down and you can really talk. And as you said, you have the choice to go and take that tool or that answer and, bring it to you or not. And Kyla, so from we've been talking about how we use the tools from relationships and different into the family and so on. Is there any other questions or tools that you can give us and everyone that's listening to that from you using with your family and being a facilitator of those classes? Yes, we have relationships and different classes. What do you see that it can really something that can really help someone that it is in this place of not having ease with the family or with the mom, the dad, with the siblings? Is there anything that you can share with us?
Yeah. One of the things that everyone loves to hear is you telling them, acknowledging them, how great they are. So tell your, I don't know, your partner, your family, your lover, your colleague, right? Your anyone that you're in a relationship or in a creationship with, hey, you are, great today. You're brilliant today. You are so good at multitasking. You are so good at like, handling this and this and that. That acknowledgement itself just makes, the day for the person. And when your partner is happy, your life would be great.
I
It,
love that. Yes, and and it does work. You know, just an example. Yesterday, I have 11-year-old son, and he does his beatboxing, and he's been doing it for 3 months. And yesterday, he just beatboxed a bit, and to me, it was that time. I was like, you know what? This big beatboxing now is much better than a month ago. Well done. It is sounding great, and you can just see like thank you. It's just like by an acknowledgement and saying that it is great. You can see this like, oh, thank you. Yes, yes.
lights
So
up
thank
the
you. I love it.
world. Yeah,
Yeah, it does. It does. And it's such a simple thing that we kind of forget or, yeah,
we forget that. And it's so easy.
yes. And it creates so much. Carla,
Yep.
thank you so much for being here. I love this conversation.
Thank you,
And for
Leandra.
anyone, you're welcome. And for anyone that would like to know more about Kyla, you have all her details in this episode. And I'm looking forward to meet you somewhere in the world one day,
Yes,
Kyla.
very soon. All right. See you, Leandra.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See
Bye.
you. Bye. Thank you, everyone.